All right, let's move on to movie review. So we did a movie review last month. It went pretty well. We posted online and asked everyone what they thought, and we got a lot of people actually. I don't know if you saw because I know you're not on all the groups that I'm a part of, but a lot of people actually recommended this movie. We got a lot of recommendations for this movie, and so we're going to jump right into it. This month's movie review is The Grand. I don't know if you can see it in the frame here, but we got a poster in the background. So we were talking about it, and then when I put it up there, I said, "Hey, what movies would you like to see?" And same going forward. If you have something you want us to recommend or whatever, drop it in the comments, subscribe, and drop it down there and let us know, what movies you want to talk about. So I know Brian's a huge fan of this movie, and then I watched. We rewatch it. We both have watched it and we rewatched it. So first off, The Grand. I'll say this: it is free on Amazon Prime right now. So if you have Amazon Prime, it's free on there to watch. I would consider it a fake documentary style.
Yeah, a
movie.
mockumentary.
A mockumentary, that's what they call it.
Yep.
So kind of think of like The Office. If you watch The Office, it's kind of like that style, like a fake documentary.
Yeah.
About Poker World. So
Best in Show. You ever see that?
Is it dog? About
Yes.
dogs?
Yes.
Yeah,
it's along the same lines.
Yeah.
It's like a mockumentary on poker.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on it?
Well, just to give you a little bit of background on
let's
it.
do a synopsis, explain it.
It's about 100. It's about an hour and 45 minutes long.
Yeah.
2007 movie, so it's a little bit dated, but it's during like the height. I don't want to say the height, but like the uprise of the poker boom.
Yeah. What year was it? Did we see?
It was 2007.
2007.
So one thing that was surprising about it, and I think we'll talk about why. Zak Penn was the writer and the director, and he's been involved in a bunch of different movies. Ready Player One, he was involved in the screenplay for that. Avengers, he's had a lot of notoriety since The Grand. What other movies was he involved in?
Who's this?
X-Men movie. The X-Men movie.
I know him from the X-Men movies.
Yep.
Last Stand, The Avengers,
Yep.
Incident Loch Ness, Alphas is a TV show on Sci-Fi Network. Yeah, so I think X-Men and Avengers is who worked on the stories for them.
Yeah. So I remember when we first watched this, I kind of like was all about it because it was such a good movie, and I was surprised about how each character kind of developed through the movie. I'm like, how do these guys, they're very, popular actors in mainstream media at the time. I was like, how did they know all this about poker? And when I read into it, he actually was like, yo, improv. So a lot of the acting in the movie is like improvisation. Like, It's not scripted.
I know. I found that out. And so basically, like I said, it's a mockumentary film. It films and follows the main person is Woody Harrelson.
Yep.
So Woody Harrelson is a.k.a. Jack Farrow. Mm-hmm. He is the son of the grandson of a casino owner. It's loosely based off of the Binion story.
Yeah.
So if you're familiar with the Binions, but in the movie it's called the Rabbit's Foot is the name of the casino. There's going to be a big poker tournament coming up. It's a winner take all, which was kind of weird. I think that was the only kind of like element that kind of felt like really like a winner take all major tournament. But the winner's going to get, what is it?
$10 million.
$10 million.
Yep.
And he needs that money. Jack Farrow needs that money to pay off a casino. But then there's all these other characters in there, and they kind of go why they need the money and like why they're playing for it as well. So it's just following the documentary of all these players coming into this tournament. Some of the big names in this, though, there's a bunch. David Cross, the comedian, he's in there. Chris Parnell, who's my favorite character in the entire movie.
Yeah, he's hilarious in it.
We got Ray Romano, who's in it. We got Gabe Kaplan, who's in it.
Oh, dude, he plays a great character.
Dude, there's so many good. I'm missing people here, but Cheryl Hines.
Yep.
There's just so many good people in this movie that Hank Azaria is in it for a brief second there.
Yep.
But there's so many good characters in this movie, and then there's a ton. Actually,
you got Jason Alexander makes an appearance.
Yes, I forgot
Shannon
about
Elizabeth's in.
Oh yeah, she's the bartender. That's yep. And then you have poker players. You have Phil Gordon, Doyle Brunson, Dale Negreanu, Phil Locke, Phil Hellmuth, Antonio, Richard Brody. I think, did I mention anyone else that I missed? I think that's everyone that I saw in there. But yeah, there's a huge stuff. There's a huge cast of people in there. So
the best part about it is like going back to kind of the character development. Like the main character, he's like a total degen.
yeah,
Like the movie opens, and I'm not giving any spoilers away. Like he's in rehab, and he's been there for 2 years.
he decides like it's easier just to move in. He goes, it's easier just to have a room there and move in.
So he's like your Stu Unger, like, you know, God rest his soul, R.I.P. whatever. But like I feel like they were trying to develop each character in relation to other
100%.
actual poker players.
The story is, like I said, it's basically the Binion story. If you're not familiar with the Binion story, Binion's was like the top casino or one of the top casinos in Vegas, old time casino. It's located on Fremont Street. They're the ones that create the WSOP. They're the ones that really introduced poker to, you know, the tournament poker to the world. And basically the casino, the whole place fell to shit, really. And the son or the grandson or whatever it was, a son, end up selling, or the daughter, I forget, it's all messed up, but one of the family members ends up selling the WSOP brand, and they sell Binions and the Horseshoe, or they sell the Horseshoe brand, and you know, the whole thing falls apart in real life. So this is kind of like a mockumentary on that story. It's basically what it is. It's basically because the Grand is actually a poker tournament in the Golden Nugget. That's the name of their.
Well, it was filmed. It's actually filmed at the Golden Nugget.
So
yeah.
every summer, the Golden Nugget in real life has a tournament series,
Grand Poker Series,
called the Grand Poker Series, and it's basically the Bane story. Now, the funny thing though is that in the movie, there's a little trivia spot for you. The movie's about like the Grand and playing in the Golden Nugget, and they do shoot scenes in the Golden Nugget. But most of the outside scenes are the what is it? The Plaza, I think I wrote down. You know, the one all the way at the end?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that is where it's actually a lot of the outside stuff is all filmed at the Plaza. So the Plaza, I found this as well. Plaza is also used in Cool World. There's a couple scenes in Casino in there, and it's also Biff's Casino in Back to the Future. That's Biff's Casino is the Plaza. So the outside is actually the Plaza, which is down the block from the Golden Nugget. That happens to be the way they shot it there.
So I took a little bit of notes just from watching the movie. Some of the spoofs that I loved was glasses. Like there's one scene where David Cross he has like a big pair of those humongous glasses.
David Cross is great.
Oh, dude, he's like their prescription. It's like hilarious. Then he comes in like a Muslim woman's garb, like covering his whole face, and all you see is his eyes. And
listen, I'll tell you this too. It's just how much the world has changed in the last 12 years. It's definitely not politically correct.
Absolutely not.
Like some of these scenes that are in this movie would never have made it today. Like that Muslim scene.
No.
When she's like, what do you say? He's like, well, you got to dress like a man.
Yeah.
But he's like.
He's like, that's sexist, that's feminine, and that's racist.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm doing this under protest.
Yeah.
It's really good. Other things too is like the interviews, like because it's a mockumentary. A lot of the shots are like when they're in like an interview room or like
The Office,
like the hot seat or whatever. They bring in they're called like the bust out crew. And you know how like. Every series they'd have like a group of friends that like went there and they're like, yeah, we're Team Counterfeit, bro. We're here.
Well, I think it was loosely based off of like Dutch Boyd's crew.
Yes,
that's basically what it's based on.
Yeah.
And they're just like wild, crazy people, and then all of a sudden like they bust out like right away. They're out of the tournament.
Yeah.
Like we made crazy bets, dude. Yeah. I think that was Hank Azaria. He was in that crew in the movie.
Yep.
Yeah, they were pretty good. I liked Harold Melvin. So Harold Melvin is, I guess, I don't want to say autistic, but I guess he kind of is. But he's like very, you know, he lives with his mom, and he like has to have like certain brain juice. Is that what he called it?
Yeah, brain
juice.
Yeah.
But he takes it's Chris Parnell, if you're familiar from Saturday Night Live. He takes it so serious, like everything he's calculating. He's like, how would you make that call with blah, 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 and like throwing out the mathematical odds.
Yeah, he's that nerd who's like you had 30% EV there, dude. You shouldn't have made that call. What are you doing? Like,
yeah, like, dude, he's my favorite character in the entire movie. And I guess it's the mom. Oh yeah, the mom from Everyone Loves Raymond. It's his
Estelle,
mom.
I can't remember her last. Estelle something.
Yeah, it's his mom in the movie. And you know, he has to eat certain things at certain times. He's always sipping on his juice. Like,
Yep.
He's definitely by far my favorite character in the movie. But he's just so serious. And I'm like, dude, I know guys like this. Like, these are guys like I've definitely played with.
Yeah,
just,
for sure.
You know, it's but yeah, he was my favorite one for sure.
I think just getting back to the poker side of things, the one, I guess there's two kind of caveats to it. If you don't know poker, like if you don't play poker and you're not involved in poker, you might watch this movie and be like, what am I watching?
Yeah.
And I think that's why it bombed. Like, so I read that like it only made like $100 and some odd $1,000 in the box office when it premiered in the US.
The budget was $3 million. They did a limited opening. They only did like a limited theater opening. It made like $114,000, which obviously is not good.
Not good.
And then about a couple weeks later, they did a DVD release. I don't know how it doesn't say how the DVD did. I'm looking. I don't see anything about how the DVD did, but I'm assuming they lost money on this film.
Oh, for sure. But if you are a poker player and you have, open mind, you're looking to see something that you'll get a couple laughs at, definitely check this out. The one cool fact that I found out, and this is after kind of looking into it, is that the script didn't actually have a winner of the grand at the end.
I saw that. That was cool. Because I was looking up stuff too, and I was like, wow, that's pretty unique. So basically what Brian's saying is they basically played out the final table, and whoever won, that's how the script ended. And so what they had to do was, I read about, was they had to film some of the scenes multiple ways. So Ray Romano is probably like one of the biggest stars in the movie besides Woody Harrelson. He's married to the female poker player in the movie. And they had to film, they're filming him at home. Like him as like Mr. Dad, basically, with the kids and like his stupid ideas. Like, and you kind of feel bad for this dude. But obviously it was all filmed in the same day. So they had to film multiple different storylines in case the woman won, in case she lost, or what place she went in. So they had to film him doing different things because he was only on set a couple days, they said.
Yeah.
So they had to get all his stuff done, and they had to film it like if she won or she lost because they weren't going to know until it was actually done.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool, the way they did it. But yeah, so they didn't even know. That's pretty crazy. It's just an improv movie.
Yeah, total improv. So I don't know. What'd you think of it? Like, if you could give it like a rating of,
I think if you're a poker player, this is a great movie.
Yeah,
this is an absolute great movie.
Yep.
But if I showed this movie to my mom, she'd be like, "What am I watching?" She would turn it off in 10 minutes because it would just go right over her head. It's not funny unless you are a poker player, and I think that's the issue with the movie. It's completely polarized.
Yeah.
It's completely polarized to just poker players.
It's
like
targeting an audience, and it's not. Yeah, and
like
that's the only audience.
There's
it's
no like love story to follow that like takes away from it, or like there's no sidetrack story. It's like they're just playing for this poker tournament. It's all poker related, and unless you're a poker player, you just will not enjoy it. But if you are, you'll love it. It's hilarious.
I mean, I don't want to say it's a more modern day because they weren't too far apart, but it's like Rounders. Like Rounders did terrible in the box office.
Yeah, but it's classic.
It's for poker players. Like everybody that plays poker can quote Rounders because of the quality of realism with the game and the movie itself. With the Grand, it doesn't miss that mark. Like the poker's real and the terminology that they're using is real, but it's like a joke. Like it's all spoof and it's hilarious for like certain things. Like with Gabe Kaplan's character, he's like the father, and he comes with the sign, and he's like, "Go like for the daughter."
Yeah,
I don't want to ruin it for you, but that's so funny.
But even like it's just like it hits on so many different levels, and especially if you were around during that 2009 when every player had like some website patch on them of like every random casino that you never heard of. And what was his? It was like favorite at 77casino.com.
I play poker online at something.
Yeah, it was like completely random. And he's like, I have to wear this hat because I'm sponsored to wear
But
this.
that's what it was. Like back in the day, like partypoker.net or like party poker.
But there was all those random ass ones that you never even heard of. You know, like what is this? And everybody was wearing something. They were just throwing ridiculous amounts of money. I'm surprised. I guess on the back end, I guess it probably. I mean, for a movie, $3 million's not that much. So
no,
they probably on the back end, and now that it's on Amazon Prime, I'm sure they made the money back. But there's not going to ever be like a sequel to this. It was an error piece as well. Like it was a perfect moment for that movie to come out. Like this movie came out today, it would never really even do anything compared to what it was, in my opinion.
Yeah,
it was the perfect moment for it to come out, even though it didn't hit well with like the general audience. But I definitely recommend it. I mean, it's a must watch. It's definitely one of my top 10.
One
probably.
last thing before we move on, and you Melvin or Harold Melvin, he was your favorite character, Chris Parnell. My favorite character was the German.
Oh yeah.
So they have another character, is the German. He's actually the dude.
His name's
Werner. Yeah, he's
Herzog? Is that I'm probably
if you know in Mandalorian.
Yeah.
He's the guy who hires the Mandalorian.
Oh, yes, in season 1.
Yes.
Yes.
He's the
Okay.
guy that hires him to catch, Baby Yoda or the child or whatever you want to refer to it as. But he winds up getting caught cheating, and it's like he had an ace up his sleeve, and it was like the cordiest like ace up. Oh, it was great. Yeah, listen, guys. We don't want to beat this too dead, but definitely check it out. It's definitely worth a watch. It's an hour and 45 minutes of your life that I promise you, if you're a poker player and you haven't seen it, you'll absolutely enjoy it. You get a couple laughs, and it'd be good.
So thanks, guys, for hanging out again. Make sure you subscribe. Check out our podcast. It's on Apple, Spotify. We're on YouTube, obviously, if you're watching this, and subscribe to our Patreon as well. So thanks, guys. We'll see you on the next one.
Thank you.